Hello everyone, welcome to the English YouTuber. In today's video, we'll be solving the fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb given in bracket. I have added a similar video before, so if you have not watched that video, make sure you watch it. I'll be adding the link towards the end of this video. So I think by the end of this video, you will be thorough with the fill in the blanks by adding the correct form of the verb. We'll be doing some previous ICSE board exam questions and also some other practice questions. So let's begin. The first question. So I'll be reading out the question once, and as I'm reading, you can write your answers in your notebook and then we will discuss question by question. Okay, let's begin. Once there lived a monk who dash to make his followers always laugh. People flocked to him to listen to his jokes and dash home laughing. The monk would make fun of himself and of others, dash sure that they dash not a single gloomy face in the crowd. After some years, when he dash and yet cheerful, his followers asked him how he dash to be happy even on his deathbed. He did not reply, but made a last wish that he should be kept on the funeral pyre with the same clothes he dash. His wishes were carried out, and to everyone's surprise, when the pyre was dash, it was found that the old monk had dash firecrackers under his clothes. Even on his cremation pyre, he dash people. So this was ICSE 2003 question. I hope you have written your answers in the notebook. Now we are going to discuss this question and then we will proceed further. Okay, the first answer. Once there lived a monk who decided to make his followers always laugh. So he was deciding. He had already decided. So the answer is decided. People flocked to him to listen to his jokes and dash home laughing and returned home laughing. The monk would make fun of himself and of others, making sure that there was not a single gloomy face in the crowd. So if you know the verb forms of be, it is am, is, are, was, were, being, been. So these are the verb forms of be. After some years, when he dashed, so when he was dying, he has not died, because if you read the question further, his followers asked him. So if he's already died, they can't ask him, right? So when he was dying and yet cheerful, his followers asked him how he dashed to be happy, how he managed to be happy even on his deathbed. He did not reply, but made a last wish that he should be kept on the funeral pyre with some clothes he was wearing. जो वो पहन रहा था. So that is why he was wearing it. He wanted to wear the same clothes. So he was wearing आएगा. His wishes were carried out, and to everyone's surprise, when the fire was, तो was है तो past tense है, तो when it was lit, it was found that the old monk had hidden. उसने already hide कर चुका था. So he had hidden firecrackers under his clothes. Even on his cremation pyre, he entertained people. Okay, so I hope this is clear. We'll go to the next question. One night, 4 college students dash out partying late and did not study for the test scheduled for the next day. In the morning, they dash off a plan. They dash themselves look dirty with grease and dirt. Then they dash to the dean and they dash out to a wedding last night. And on their way back, the tire of their car burst and they had to push the car all the way back. The dean dashed for a minute and said that they could have the retest after 3 days. They dashed him and said they would be ready. On the day of the test, they were made to sit in separate rooms. They agreed as they dash well. But they dash a shock when they saw that they were dash about which tire dash. So there are a lot of dashes in this question, isn't it? So if you have not completed, you can pause the video, complete this and then play it again because we'll be discussing the answer now. Okay, so one night 4 college students hai, so the answer is plural. So here instead of was, it will be were. One night 4 college students were out partying late and did not study for the test scheduled for the next day. In the morning, उन्होंने सोच के रखा था, so they THOUGHT, they thought of a plan. So this is all past instances. So make will become made. They made themselves look dirty with grease and dirt. Then they wo gaye. So went. Go will become went. They went to the dean and said. They वो गए थे. So they had gone. Said they had gone out to a wedding last night. And on their way back, the tire of the car had burst and they had to push the car all the way back. The dean think ka ho jayega thought for a minute and said that they could have the retest after 3 days. So thank will become past tenses. They thanked him and said they would be ready. On the day of the test, they were made to sit in separate rooms. They agreed as they had prepared well. उन्होंने वो preparation कर चुके थे. So they had prepared well. But they get का हो जाएगा got a shock when they saw that they were asked about which tire had burst. Okay, I hope you got the answers right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next question has appeared in the board exam 2005. So let's solve this. After Christopher Columbus dashed from his voyage across the Atlantic, the King of Spain dashed to celebrate the great event and do honor to the man who dashed himself a national hero. He dashed so by holding a banquet in honor of the explorer. To this banquet, he dashed many of the nobles. Some of them dashed jealous of the success Columbus dash. One of the men who dashed next to Columbus turned towards Columbus and said, "Of course you dash brave, but it doesn't take much intelligence to do what you have done. After all, anyone can take a ship and sail on and on till he dash land." So I hope you have completed all the fill in the blanks. Now we shall be discussing this one. Okay, let's discuss. After Christopher Columbus returned from his voyage across the Atlantic, the King of Spain, what will come here? Wished. So these are all past narration. The King of Spain wished to celebrate the great event and do honor to the man who dashed himself a national hero. So what is going to come here? Who had made. Now, why will had made come here? So, the past perfect tense will come here because it is showing an action that has already been completed before another point in the past. So, first of all, this is a past narration. In that, this action has also been completed. So, to show that. So, he had already made himself a national hero. Already before the time he had invited him. So that is why who had made himself a national hero. So what did the king do? He did so by holding a banquet in honor of the explorer. To this banquet he तो invite किया मतलब invited many of the nobles. Some of them were. Why will were come and not was? Because it is some of them were jealous of the success Columbus had achieved. उसने already achieve किया है. So he had achieved. One of the man who sat next to Columbus turned towards Columbus and said, "Of course you are brave." So this is a conversation he's telling him. Of course you are brave, but it doesn't take much intelligence to do what you have done. After all, anyone can take a ship and sail and on till he reaches land. So here in the last blank, simple present tense is used because it is used to express a truth or a fact. So that is why here reaches come. Okay, I hope you have completed this one. Let's move to the next question. It dash all evening yesterday. So Ram and I dash at home. First we dash carom, but we dash it very much. So we dash a movie. Then we ate the cookies our mother dashed that morning. She dashed for work and dash us not to eat the entire box. However, we dashed track of cookies we ate and in no time the box was empty. When mom dashed from work, she got a dash when she saw the empty box. Before she could shout, we dash her that we dash disobey her again. Okay, so are you going to write it was snowing all evening yesterday, or have you written it had been snowing all evening yesterday? Okay, so if you have written had been snowing or if you have written was snowing, both are correct grammatically. So if you have written was snowing, it is showing a past continuous action that all evening yesterday it was happening. If you have written had been snowing, it is past perfect continuous tense. Here it emphasizes that the snowing was of prolonged nature and it happened throughout the evening. So if you see, both are grammatically correct. So Ram and I dash at home. So Ram and I, this is about a past instance. So we stayed at home. First we played carom, but we did not like it very much. So we watched a movie. Then we ate the cookies our mother dashed that morning. So our mother had prepared an action that started in the past and it ended before, in the past itself. So that is perfect, past perfect tense. So our mother had prepared that morning. She had gone for work and had asked us not to eat the entire box. However, we lost track of the cookies we ate and in no time the box was empty. When mom returned from work, she got a shock. So got already shows past. So shock will be shock only. She got a shock when she saw the empty box. Before she could shout, we promised her that we would never disobey her again. So I have written here would never because here it is a commitment to not repeat something which is a past negative action. So here the past negative action was them eating the box in spite of their mother asking them not to complete the entire box. So that is why they said that they would never disobey her again. And I hope this is clear. We'll go to the next one. So this has appeared in ICSE 2006. Mid-afternoon, while dash my report to Mrs. Biggs, I dash a loud thumping, dash from the direction of her storeroom. What dash all the noise downstairs? I asked. Probably a rat. I don't hear anything, she replied. I ran downstairs and dashed the storeroom door. There was Mr. Biggs, very dusty and disgruntled. He wanted to know why Mrs. Biggs dashed him up for hours. He had gone into the storeroom in search of a walking stick, and Mrs. Biggs dashed the door open, had promptly dashed it. Okay, I hope you have written the answer. If I'm too fast, I'm extremely sorry. Please pause the video, complete the answers, and then you can play it so that we can discuss the answers. Okay, mid-afternoon, while dash my report. So when this action was happening, he heard a noise, right? So here continuous tense will come. While giving my report to Mrs. Biggs, I heard. उसने सुना. I heard a loud thumping coming from the direction of her storeroom. What is all the noise downstairs? I asked. So here it is in quotation. So this is what he had said then. So that is why present tense will come. What is all the noise downstairs? I asked. Probably a rat. I don't hear anything, she replied. I ran downstairs and opened the storeroom door. There was Mr. Biggs, looking very dusty and disgruntled. He wanted to know why Mrs. Biggs had shut him up. So now he no longer was shut in the room. So that is why he had shut him up for hours. He had gone into the storeroom in search of a walking stick, and Mrs. Biggs, seeing the door open, had promptly bolted it. Okay, I hope this is also done. Let's move to the next one. Very short one. This is from ICSE 1999. When we dashed the volcano, it was in a state of eruption. We dashed near the summit on an irregular plain. It dashed up with stones and cinders and enormous rocks. Which dashed from the volcano in terrible confusion. We dashed to a specially built shelter nearby. Okay, so let's discuss. When we visited, visit will become visited the volcano, it was in a state of eruption. We stand ka past hoga, stood near the summit on an irregular plain. It was heaped with stones and cinders and enormous rocks, which dashed from the volcano, so which had been hurled. So here past perfect tense is used, which shows that an action of violent throwing was completed before another event in the past. From the volcano in terrible confusion. We rushed to a specially built shelter nearby. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So this is ICSE 2000. I have just dashed my work. So I have just done my work. खत्म हो चुका है. So done my work. Yesterday Mr. Anthony dashed out of town. So कल go का हो जाएगा went. I told him that we dashed them of our intention a year ago. So here a year ago की बात है. So I told him that we had informed them of our intention a year ago. He dashed in this office since October. Okay, so here the answer will be he has been working. So why will has been working come? Here present perfect continuous tense is used, which shows that an action that began in October is still continuing in the present also. I showed the teacher what I wrote. Okay. I hope you have completed this as well. Let's move on to the next one. So this is ICSE 2002 question. The Falcons were obviously in a heat of fury when the ravens dashed scouting along the cliff. The Falcons dashed to drive away the ravens. The ravens, however, dashed unconcerned to and fro. Only at the last split second of each falcon's drive, dashed the ravens turn over sideways to prevent the remarkable beak which dash transfix the falcon were it to continue its wild drive. Okay, the falcons were obviously in a heat of fury when the ravens came scouting along the cliff. The falcons attempted to drive away the ravens. The ravens, however, fly ka ho jayega, flew unconcerned to and fro. Only at the last split second of each falcon's drive did the ravens turn over sideways to present the remarkable beak which could transfix the falcon were it to continue its wild drive. So this was pretty easy, isn't it? Let's go to the next one. It is dash that Persians dash biryani to the Indians and this royal delicacy dash a luxurious meal during special occasions. The dish dash significantly under the Mughals who dash it to an art form and further dash by locals who dash their local ingredients. However, over the past decade, the popularity of biryani dash to the extent that we eat it whenever the craving dash in. Okay, I hope you have written all the answers. Let's discuss it now. It is believed that Persians had introduced. So it is believed that Persians had introduced biryani to the Indians, and this royal delicacy was a luxurious meal made during special occasions. The dish evolved significantly under the Mughals, who elevated it to an art form and further adapted by locals who added their local ingredients. However, over the past decade, the popularity of biryani has grown. Now, why will has grown come? Because the popularity continues even today. So, this process, which was started before, continues to have an effect even today. That is why it is has grown to the extent that we eat it whenever the craving kicks in. So, this is a fact, right? That is why here simple present tense will come, kicks in. Next one. The Singapore Botanical Garden dash in 1859 is one of the leading tropical gardens in the world. It dash over 25,000 visitors each week. Some of these visitors dash from countries as far as Canada. Besides dash as a park, it dash also a center for research on various flora. At present, some 4,000 species of plants dash in the garden. This collection dash in the future through exchange and innovation. Tourists dash the garden can also dash to see several dash of orchids, which is their national flower. If you haven't completed filling the blanks, you can take your time, think well. Please pause the video. If you have already completed, let's discuss the answer. The Singapore Botanical Garden, founded in 1859, is one of the leading tropical gardens in the world. It attracts over 25,000 visitors each week. Some of these visitors travel will remain travel only. If it was here, it is visitors. So the next word will be singular. If a visitor, then it will be travels. But here some of these visitors travel from countries as far as Canada. So they can be trick questions as well to see if you really know whether that answer is apt or not. Besides serving as a park, it is also a center for research on various flora. At present, some 4,000 species of plants are flourishing at present, no? So they are flourishing in the garden. This collection in the future, right? So it will expand, because here you have to make sure that you read what tense is supposed to be written. Tourists visiting the garden can also expect to see several. So several means it will be varieties of orchids, which is their national flower. Okay, clear? Let's move to the next one. I dashed that it would rain all day. But when I dash out of the window this morning, I dash that the sun dash. I dash to the garage and dash out my cycle. While I dash through the neighborhood, I dash that a lady dash the grass. While her kids dash berries. The climate suddenly dash and it dashed to rain. Luckily, the lady dash me dash wet and asked me to come inside. While it dash outside, I dash in the lady's house eating berries. Once the rain stopped, just as I dashed the lady's house, I dash my friend and we dash home together. Okay, have you completed this one? Shall we discuss? Okay. मैंने सोचा, तो I thought that it would rain all day, but when I looked out of the window this morning, I realized that the sun was shining. Shine ho raha tha, so it was shining. I went to the garage and took out my cycle while I was cycling. So past continuous tense. जब मैं cycle कर रहा था, while I was cycling through the neighborhood, I saw that a lady was mowing the grass. She was also doing a continuous action. While her kids were picking. Now were came here because it is kids. The climate suddenly changed and it started to rain. Luckily, the lady saw me getting wet and asked me to come inside. While it was raining, जब बारिश आ रही थी, so while it was raining outside, I sat in the lady's house eating berries. Once the rain stopped, just as I was leaving the lady's house, I met my friend and we went home together. Okay, clear this one? Let's move to the next one. It dash 9 p.m. and we dash our dinner. When I dash into my neighbor's home, they had already dashed their dinner. and were dash their dishes. That is when the phone dash, and my sister informed us that she shall dash home for Christmas. We dash over the moon, and my mother, out of joy, dash. Okay, let's discuss the answers. It was 9 p.m. and we were eating. खा रहे थे ना? So we were eating our dinner when I peeped into my neighbor's house. They had already, तो खा चुके थे. They had already eaten their dinner and they were doing the action, so were washing their dishes. That is when the phone rang, and my sister informed us that she shall be coming home for Christmas. We were over the moon, and my mom, out of joy, started dancing. Okay, clear this one? Let's move to the next one. This is the last question. I am so dashed to write about my first ever trek to the Himalayas. It dashed my dream for 15 years to climb a mountain, but then my priorities dash. Due to work commitments. However, once I dashed from work, my passion rekindled. I dash for someone to accompany me on this trek and dash a group on a social networking site who dash on this exciting journey. On the day of the trek, it was too cold and my gears dash wet. How can I miss dash the beautiful landscape and picturesque scenery? When I dash back to that day, I feel proud of myself. Okay, let's discuss this answer. I am so thrilled to write about my first ever trek to the Himalayas. It had been my dream. Now, why it is had been? 15 सालों के लिए ये था, लेकिन वो फिर ड्रीम मैंने छोड़ दिया, इसीलिए had been. अगर अभी भी है तो it has been my dream since my childhood to climb a mountain. But यहाँ पे क्या हो गया? To climb a mountain, but then my priorities changed due to my work commitments. However, once I resigned from work, my passion rekindled. I was looking, मैं ढूंढ रही थी, for someone to accompany me on this trek. And फिर मुझे मिला. So I found a group on social networking site who were embarking on this exciting journey. On the day of the trek, it was too cold and my gears were wet. Gears, है ना? How can I miss mentioning the beautiful landscape and picturesque scenery? When I look will be look only. There's no change. When I look back to that day, I feel proud of myself. And we have completed all the questions. So wasn't it a wonderful way to revise all of these questions? So thank you so much for watching this, solving this. Please share this video among your friends and all the very best for your examinations. God bless.